My name is Elena Carter. I'm 32 years old. And if you had told me a week before everything fell apart that the man I thought I was building a future with would casually invite his ex-girlfriend into my home and then tell me to leave if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have believed you. Not because he was perfect, but because betrayal like that doesn't usually arrive so calmly. It doesn't sound like a passing comment. It doesn't feel like weather. It feels like something sharp, loud, obvious. This didn't. It started on a Tuesday night. I was sitting on my couch, laptop open, comparing meat prices, like someone who had officially crossed into full adulthood. I owned a 2-bedroom condo, bought it in 2019, just before everything got expensive, and I took stupid pride in hosting. Especially draft night. Every year, same group, same chaos. Food, drinks, arguments about players none of us actually understood. It was tradition. I handled the smoker. Always had. 14 hours, low and slow. My recipe, my rules. Evan, my boyfriend, handled logistics. Or at least, that's what I thought. He was sitting beside me that night, scrolling on his phone, half watching something forgettable. And then, without even looking up, he said, "Oh, I invited Madison to draft night." I stopped typing. Not paused. Stopped. Madison? I asked slowly. His ex-girlfriend. The one he dated for 4 years. The one he had described repeatedly as manipulative, jealous, emotionally exhausting. The one who, according to him, nearly destroyed his mental health. That Madison? Yeah, he said casually, still scrolling. We've been talking again. She's different now. Different. I turned to look at him fully. You've been talking for how long? A few months, he said. It's not a big deal. A few months. And I was hearing about it 4 days before she was supposed to walk into my home. Sit on my couch. Eat food I cooked. Smile at people who didn't know she was part of a relationship that had apparently never fully ended. You invited your ex-girlfriend, I said carefully, to an event in my condo, and you're telling me now? He sighed. Like I was the problem. Elena, it's not that serious. She's just a friend. Just a friend. That phrase always sounds harmless. Until it isn't. I don't want her here, I said. Simple. Direct. Reasonable. That's when he finally looked at me. And something in his expression shifted. Not guilt, not hesitation. Just irritation. She's already coming, he said. I told her it was fine. You told her it was fine, I repeated. Yes. In my home. He leaned back, crossing his arms. You're being kind of insecure about this. I felt something in my chest tighten. Not anger. Not yet. Just clarity starting to form. I'm not insecure, I said quietly. I'm telling you I don't want your ex-girlfriend in my house. He stood up then, and that's when everything broke. She's coming, he said firmly. And if you're going to make it weird, maybe you should just go somewhere else for the night. I stared at him, waiting for the correction, the smile. I didn't mean it like that. It didn't come. Go to Mia's, he added. It's just a few hours. A few hours. He was asking me to leave my own home so he could host his ex. At a party I planned. I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. Because in that moment, something colder than anger settled in. Understanding. I stood up slowly, walked past him, grabbed my keys from the counter. Where are you going? He asked. I didn't answer. because there was nothing left to say that he would hear. I walked out, got in my car, and drove. Mia opened the door before I even knocked, took one look at my face, and didn't ask a single question. She just stepped aside, let me in, and handed me a glass of iced coffee like it was medicine. I sat on her couch, stared at nothing. And after about 10 minutes, I said, he invited his ex-girlfriend to draft night. Mia blinked. Into your condo? Yep. And? He told me to leave if I didn't like it. There was a long pause. Then she said, very carefully, so what are you going to do? I pulled out my phone, opened Discord, and started typing. I stared at the blinking cursor for a few seconds. Not because I didn't know what to say, because I knew exactly what to say, and once I sent it, there would be no pretending this was just a private disagreement between me and Evan. There would be witnesses. There would be reactions. There would be a record. Mia sat across from me, both hands wrapped around her iced coffee, watching my face instead of my phone. Don't over-explain, she said quietly. I nodded. Then I typed one message in the draft night channel. Draft night is moving to Mia's place. Same time. I'll bring the brisket. Evan wants to host Madison at my condo instead, so we're relocating. Details tomorrow. I read it once. Then I hit send. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Mia's phone buzzed. Then mine. Then hers again. Within 30 seconds, the Discord server started lighting up like someone had dropped a match into dry grass. I muted notifications and set my phone face down on the coffee table. Mia didn't touch hers either. For almost a full minute, we just sat there, in the quiet hum of her apartment, listening to my phone vibrate over and over against the wood. Finally, Mia leaned back. Well, she said, that was efficient. I almost laughed. Almost. But the sound caught somewhere behind my ribs. Because beneath the calm, beneath the clean little message I had just sent, something ugly was opening inside me. Not jealousy. Not even embarrassment. It was the realization that Evan had been preparing a version of my life without asking me whether I wanted to live in it. My home. My friends. My tradition. His ex. And somehow, I was supposed to be the difficult one. Around midnight, my phone was still flashing. Evan had sent 12 texts. Then 15. Then 21. The first few were confused. Why would you post that? This is so immature. Then angry. You made me look insane. You had no right to drag everyone into this. Then theatrical. I don't even feel safe talking to you when you act like this. I didn't open them. Mia glanced at the screen once and made a face. He's spiraling. He can spiral quietly. Then a number I didn't recognize texted. 3 messages. Mia picked up my phone, squinted at the preview, and her eyebrows shot up. Elena. What? I think this is Madison. I took the phone. The first message said, Hey, this is Madison. Evan gave me your number so we could coordinate Saturday. What time should I come by? The second, should I bring anything? The third, I hope this isn't awkward. Evan said everyone was cool with it. I just stared at the screen. Everyone was cool with it. That was the story he had sold her. Or maybe the story she wanted to believe. Mia let out one sharp laugh. She has your number? Apparently. He gave his ex your number so she could coordinate a party in your condo after telling you to leave your condo. When she said it out loud, it sounded even worse. I locked the phone and put it back down. Mia disappeared into her bedroom and came back with a blanket and one of those oversized pillows that looked decorative, but was somehow actually comfortable. "You're sleeping here," she said. "I can go home." "No, you can't." "Mia." "Elena, no." So I stayed. Not because I was afraid of Evan. Because I was afraid of what I might say if I went back while the wound was still fresh. The next morning, Mia woke me at 6:40 by dropping her phone beside my face. "You need to see the server." I groaned, sat up, and took the phone. The draft night channel had exploded. 48 new messages. Mia had posted around 1 in the morning. "My place is locked in. Projector works. Smoker transport pending. This is not a drill." Then Tasha, our league commissioner and unofficial judge of human behavior, had replied, "Wait, Madison? The Madison from the 4-year horror saga?" Jordan wrote, "I'm bringing queso and emotional support." Mike posted, "So we're drafting players and witnessing a relationship collapse? Multitasking." Someone started a poll asking whether Madison should be auto-drafted onto the worst fantasy roster as punishment for entering the group under suspicious circumstances. It had 11 votes yes. No votes no. Then came Evan. He had chosen the general channel. A tactical mistake. That channel had more lurkers, more spectators, and far fewer people willing to pretend. His first message said, "There's been a misunderstanding. Elena is upset, but nobody told her to leave her home. I suggested she might be more comfortable elsewhere if she couldn't handle Madison being there." Mike replied with a single thinking emoji. Jordan wrote, "That sounds like telling her to leave with extra words." Evan tried again. "I was trying to include someone who has changed and deserves a chance. This is being blown out of proportion." Tasha responded, "In whose home?" No answer. Then Evan posted a longer message about maturity, forgiveness, and how adults should be able to be in the same room with exes without drama. Tasha pinned my original message. Then added, "For context, Elena was asked to leave her own condo so Evan could host his ex-girlfriend at a party Elena was throwing. She declined and moved the event. That's the story. Back to draft logistics." I stared at the screen. Mia, still half asleep, smiled like a villain. Tasha woke up and chose violence. She chose accuracy. Same thing. Evan tried to fight the pin. He asked why Tasha was taking sides. He asked whether moderators were going to allow one person's narrative to dominate. Tasha replied, "This is your warning. Stay on topic or take a break from the channel." After that, he went quiet. For about an hour. Then Mia showed me her DMs. Madison had found her username somehow. Probably through Evan. Her message was polished. Too polished. "Hi Mia. I know you and Elena are close, but I really hope someone can be neutral here. Evan is devastated. He only wanted everyone to get along. I feel terrible that my presence caused this." Mia left it on read. A second message arrived 10 minutes later. "Would it be possible for Evan and me to still come to your place Saturday? I don't want this to divide the group." Mia left that on read too. I handed her phone back. "You're not answering?" "No." "Not even one sentence?" "Elena, silence is a sentence." By 8, I drove back to my condo. Evan was waiting. He had clearly been awake for hours. His hair was messy, his eyes sharp, his phone in his hand like a weapon he hadn't decided how to use yet. The second I walked in, he transformed. "Hey," he said softly. Gentle voice. Concerned face. Carefully lowered shoulders. The version of Evan people loved. The charming one. The reasonable one. The one who made you feel irrational for remembering what he'd said before witnesses arrived. "Can we talk?" he asked. "Last night got out of hand." I closed the door behind me. "There's nothing to talk about. Draft night is at Mia's." His face flickered. Just for a second. Then he recovered. "I understand you're upset," he said. "But Madison is just a friend. I was trying to be mature. You made it public and humiliated me. You told me to leave my home. I suggested you might be more comfortable somewhere else." "That's the same thing." "It isn't. It is when the alternative is letting your ex sit on my couch while I disappear." His jaw tightened. There he was. The soft voice cracked, and something colder looked through. "You want to make this ugly?" he asked. "No," I said. "I'm making it clear." He laughed once. No humor in it. "I live here too." "You're welcome to stay here Saturday," I said. "Madison can come over. You two can have the place to yourselves." His eyes narrowed. "That's not what I want." "No," I said. "What you wanted was my home, my food, my friends, and my silence." For once, he had no clean answer. I walked past him to the bedroom and packed a small bag. A few clothes. My laptop charger. The folder with my condo documents, because something in me had started thinking ahead. Behind me, I heard his voice shift. Soft again. But not for me. He was already on the phone. "Amber, can you come over? Elena's being completely unreasonable. I honestly don't feel safe here right now." I stopped with my hand on the zipper of my bag. There it was. The next move. The victim story. The witness recruitment. The rewritten script. I zipped the bag slowly. Then I walked out without looking at him. Because whatever Evan was about to perform for Amber, I refused to be part of the audience. Saturday arrived with the kind of quiet clarity that only comes after something breaks. No confusion. No hesitation. Just direction. I woke up at Mia's apartment before she did. Sunlight cutting through the blinds in thin, deliberate lines. The kind that make everything look sharper than it actually is. For a few seconds, I forgot. Then I remembered. And instead of that sinking feeling I expected, I felt calm. Not happy. Not relieved. Just steady. Mia shuffled into the kitchen 10 minutes later, hair tied up, already reaching for coffee like it was oxygen. "You ready?" she asked. I nodded. "Smoker first," I said. "War second." She smiled. Good priorities. We got to her place fully set up by noon. Laptops charging. Extension cords everywhere. Draft board synced to the TV. Jordan showed up early with queso like it was a sacred offering. Mike came in complaining about his headset like nothing in the world had ever betrayed him harder. Tasha arrived last, calm as always, laptop already open before she even sat down. No one asked me how I was. Not directly. And I appreciated that. Because the moment people start asking, you're expected to feel something out loud. I wasn't ready for that yet. Instead, they did what real friends do. They showed up. They stayed normal. They made space without making it obvious. By 2 p.m., Mia's apartment was full. 14 people. Exactly who should have been there. No more. No less. The energy was easy. Comfortable. Loud in the right ways. Someone knocked over a drink within the first hour. Mike's mic echoed for 10 straight minutes before anyone fixed it. Jordan's queso disappeared faster than logic could explain. And for the first time in days, I laughed. Not forced. Not polite. Real. It caught me off guard. Like my body remembered something my mind hadn't caught up to yet. Meanwhile, across the city, Evan was hosting a party. Or at least, he was trying to. I didn't see it happen. But I didn't need to. Because by the time we hit round 2 of the draft, the messages started. Not in the main channel. Not publicly. Private. Direct. Chaotic. Mia's phone buzzed first. Then Jordan's. Then Mike's. Then mine. A number I didn't recognize. But I already knew who it was. Madison. Her first message? Hey, is the draft happening somewhere else? Evan said people might be late, but it's been a while. I didn't respond. 10 minutes later, is there another location? I feel like I'm missing something. Still nothing. Mia leaned over, glanced at my screen, and whispered, "She's figuring it out." "Letter," I said. Back at the condo, the version I pieced together later was almost painful to imagine. Evan had set everything up. Snacks out. Lights adjusted, like a scene he thought he could control. He even posted a last-minute invite to some of his coworkers. Low-key hangout tonight, good vibes. No one came. Not a single one. Except Madison. She arrived early. 2 hours early. Sat on my couch. Ate food from my kitchen. Waited for a party that was never going to exist. At first, Evan kept the illusion alive. People are probably running late. Traffic's bad. Someone said they might stop by after dinner. But time has a way of exposing lies. Slowly. Quietly. Then, all at once, by 6 p.m., the question started. Didn't you say this was a group thing? It is. So, where is everyone? They're coming. They're not here. At 7 p.m., the draft officially started. At Mia's. With everyone present. With laughter. With noise. With life. At 7:12 p.m., Madison texted again. Is there another location? At 7:34, are people coming to your place or? At 7:58. Okay, something's off. No one is here. Mia muted her phone. I almost feel bad. No, you don't, I said. She smiled. You're right, I don't. At some point, Madison asked Evan directly, so is this the party? There's a specific kind of silence that follows a question like that. The kind that doesn't just sit in the room. It exposes it. He tried to pivot. Tried to reshape the narrative mid-collapse. Plans changed. Changed to what? It's just more low-key. Low-key as in just us? It doesn't have to be a problem. It kind of is. From what I heard, that's when the atmosphere shifted. Not dramatically. Not loudly. Just awkwardly. The kind of awkward that stretches minutes into something unbearable. Madison checked her phone more. Evan talked more. Neither of them believed what was happening. By 8:30, she left. Some excuse about something urgent. Something vague. Something convenient. The goodbye was short. No second glance. No promise to reschedule. Just distance. And Evan? He stayed. In a room full of untouched snacks. Music still playing. Lights still on. A party staged for people who chose not to come. Back at Mia's. Round 4. Drew's Wi-Fi dropped. 90 seconds. That's all it took. Auto draft kicked in. Selected a kicker for someone. The room exploded. Laughter so loud it drowned out everything else. Nicknames were assigned immediately. Debates started. Rules were rewritten on the spot. And somehow, that tiny, ridiculous chaos felt more real than anything Evan had tried to build. Around 9 p.m., my phone buzzed again. Not a DM this time. The general channel. Evan. A long message. Too long. The kind people write when they're losing control, but trying to sound composed. He said he was hurt. That he had always tried to be a good partner. That all he did was invite someone. That he didn't deserve to be treated like a villain. That there had been manipulation behind the scenes. That he was done defending himself. That he just wanted people to hear his side. The room went quiet for exactly 3 seconds. Everyone had seen it. At the same time, Jordan looked at me. Should we say something? Tasha didn't even look up from her screen. She told Elena to leave her own home for his ex, she said flatly. He did. She left. That's the story. Jordan nodded slowly. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Tasha unmuted her mic. I'm deleting that, she said. And she did. Just like that. Message gone. Narrative gone. Control gone. Then she posted a meme. A dumpster on fire. Caption. Anyway. The room burst back into laughter. Tension evaporated. Like it had never been there. I sat back. Watched it all. Felt something settle inside me. Not satisfaction. Not revenge. Something quieter. Stronger. Final. Evan left the server that night. No goodbye. No explanation. Just gone. His name disappeared mid-draft. Like he had never been part of it. And for the first time since Tuesday, I realized something important. I hadn't lost anything. He had. The notice came 3 days later. Not dramatic. Not emotional. Printed. Signed. Placed on the coffee table between us like a boundary made physical. 30 days, I said. Evan didn't touch the paper at first. He just looked at me. Really looked this time, like he was trying to figure out when exactly I had stopped being manageable. What is this? He asked, even though he knew. Move-out notice, October 15th. He picked it up slowly. Read it once. Then again. His expression shifted in stages. Confusion, disbelief, then something colder. You're serious? Yes. You're kicking me out. I'm ending a living arrangement, I corrected. Legally. Properly. With notice. He let out a short laugh. You don't get to do that like it's nothing. You told me to leave my own home, I said. This is the result. For a moment, I thought he might argue. Raise his voice. Push. Instead, he leaned back against the counter, eyes narrowing just slightly. I could fight this, he said. I have rights. You have 30 days, I replied. After that, you don't. Silence stretched between us. Then, he smiled. Not the soft, charming version. Something sharper. You should be careful, Elena. I didn't react. Careful of what? I have a sister who works in HR, he said casually. She knows people at your company. There it was. Not loud, not direct, but unmistakable. A threat. You're threatening my job, I said evenly, because I'm asking you to move out of my condo? I'm just saying, he shrugged. There are different ways things could go. I held his gaze for a second longer than necessary. Then I said, "You have 30 days," and I walked away. A week later, my manager called me into his office. "Hey," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. "Got a strange email from HR." I sat down. About? Something about a hostile domestic situation and concerns about your stability. I exhaled slowly. There it was. He watched my face carefully. "You want to explain?" "Break up," I said. "Eviction notice." He didn't take it well. That was it. No over-explaining. No defensiveness. Just facts. My manager nodded once. "Yeah," he said. "That tracks. HR flagged it as vague. No actionable claims." And nothing, he said. "Just wanted to check in." I stood up. "Thanks for telling me." When I walked out of his office, something settled deeper inside me. He'd tried, and it hadn't worked. The next 3 weeks weren't explosive. They were worse. Quiet. Calculated. Evan didn't scream. Didn't argue. Didn't cross any line obvious enough to point to. Instead, he turned the condo into a slow, grinding discomfort. Cabinet doors left open. Lights left on. The thermostat adjusted just enough to be irritating. The last of the coffee used, never replaced. Small things. Constant things. The kind that don't justify confrontation, but wear you down anyway. Amber started coming over almost daily. She moved through my home like it belonged to her. Looked at me like I was something unpleasant she had to tolerate. They'd sit in the living room, voices just loud enough. Some people can't handle strong personalities. Emotional immaturity is a real issue. I stopped reacting. Stopped engaging. I lived around them, not with them. Then one day, I came home to silence. No TV. No voices. Just the low hum of something missing. I opened my laptop. No internet. Checked my phone. Disconnected. Walked to the router. The network name had been changed. Elena_is_unstable. I stared at it for a long second. Then tried to reconnect. Password rejected. I walked into the living room. Evan looked up from his phone, calm as ever. "Wi-Fi acting up?" he asked. "What's the password?" He smiled. "I'll write it down somewhere." He didn't. Not that day. Not the next. For 3 days, I tethered everything through my phone. Worked like that. Lived like that. Didn't ask again. Because asking was part of the game. And I was done playing. The worst part wasn't the petty things. It was the waiting. Knowing something bigger was there. Just beneath the surface. I found it by accident. A Tuesday night. Exactly 1 week before his move-out date. I was sitting on the couch trying to fix my Netflix recommendations. They'd gone completely off. Reality dating shows. Couples therapy documentaries. Endless episodes of people making terrible decisions in tropical locations. None of it was mine. So I opened account settings. Scrolled down. Clicked on Viewing Activity. And that's when I saw it. A device name. Simple. Clear. Unmistakable. Madison's Fire Stick. Last active yesterday. I froze. Scrolled. More entries. Same device. Different dates. Different times. Late nights. Weekdays. Weekends. Going back. Farther than it should have. January. December. November. 8 months. 8 months of activity. On a device that didn't exist in my home. On nights he had told me he was somewhere else. Work dinners. Late meetings. Helping a friend. Just needed space. I remembered each one. Because I had believed them. Every single time. My thumb hovered over the screen. Then I scrolled further. More proof. More timestamps. More lies. Until the pattern became undeniable. This wasn't a recent reconnection. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't even messy. It was planned. Carefully. Deliberately. The coffee shop story? Staged. The she's changed narrative? Rehearsed. The draft night invitation? Not impulsive. Strategic. He wasn't introducing her. He was reintroducing her. Softly. Gradually. So when the truth surfaced, it would feel normal. I didn't confront him immediately. I sat with it. 18 hours. Let it settle. Let the anger burn out. What was left was clarity. The next evening, he came home like nothing had changed. Gym bag over his shoulder. Easy smile. "Hey," he said. "I was thinking we could watch something tonight. Clear the air a little." I nodded. "Sure." I picked up the remote. Opened Netflix. Navigated, slowly, deliberately, to account settings. He watched me. Still relaxed. Still unaware. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Checking something." I clicked into Manage Devices. Scrolled. Turned the screen toward him. Let his eyes land on it. Madison's Fire Stick. Last active? Yesterday. Silence. His smile disappeared. Not gradually. Instantly. Like someone had pulled a switch. "When did we add that?" I asked. He didn't answer. Just stared. Then looked at me. Then back at the screen. Because according to this," I said calmly, "you've been watching shows from her place for at least 8 months. Still nothing. 8 months of late nights," I continued. 8 months of excuses. His mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. "I can explain." "Can you?" I held his gaze. No anger. No raised voice. Just truth. And nowhere left to hide from it. He didn't try again. Didn't argue. Didn't deny. Because there was nothing left to work with. No version of reality he could reshape fast enough. 8 days, I said. The notice stands. I stood up, grabbed my keys, and walked out. That night, I stayed at Mia's again. Told her everything. She listened. Didn't interrupt. Didn't soften it. Just let the truth exist exactly as it was. When I finished, she leaned back and said, "Wow." Then, after a pause, "Okay, now it makes sense." When I came back the next morning, the condo was different. Boxes in the living room. Closets half empty. No Amber. No commentary. No games. Just packing. Quiet. Efficient. Final. The countdown had started. And this time, he knew he couldn't stop it. Move-out day didn't feel dramatic. It felt procedural. Like closing a file. finalizing something that had already ended weeks ago. I didn't stay at the condo that morning. I woke up at Mia's, drank coffee I barely tasted, and checked my phone every 15 minutes without actually reading anything. At 10:52 a.m., I got a text. Carlos. She's here with the moving van. I'm in the lobby. Carlos had managed the building for over a decade. Calm, observant, impossible to manipulate. Exactly the kind of person you want present when things could turn messy. At 12:38 p.m., another text came through. Carlos. Almost done. Minor issue with balcony item. Handled. I already knew what that meant. The smoker. Of course he tried. By 1:07 p.m., Carlos sent the final message. Carlos. Van just left. You're clear. Locks are being rekeyed now. I waited 10 more minutes. Not because I needed to, but because something in me wanted that extra layer of certainty. Then I drove back. Carlos was standing in the lobby when I walked in. He handed me a new set of keys. All set, he said. She returned hers. Everything documented. Any problems? He gave me a small smile. Only tried to claim something from the balcony. The smoker. Yeah, he said. Told her it wasn't hers. She argued for about 10 minutes, then dropped it. Of course she did. That smoker had been there before him. Before everything. It wasn't just an object. It was proof of time, of effort, of ownership, things he never really understood. When I opened the door, the silence hit differently. Not heavy, not empty, just quiet, clean. Like a space that finally belonged to itself again. I walked through slowly, room by room, not looking for what was missing, just noticing what remained. My furniture, my kitchen, my routines, my life, untouched, uncompromised. The bedroom felt bigger. The living room, calmer. Even the air felt different. Or maybe that was just me. I set my keys down on the counter, walked to my desk, opened my laptop, and went straight to Netflix. Account settings. Manage devices. There it was. Still sitting there, like a ghost that hadn't realized it was dead yet. Madison's Fire Stick. I stared at it for a moment. Not with anger. Not even with resentment. Just recognition. Then I clicked remove. Gone. Just like that. Then I changed the password. Deleted Evan's profile. Deleted hers too. Years of shared recommendations. History. Algorithms. All of it erased in less than 30 seconds. An hour later, my phone buzzed. Evan. Did you seriously remove me from Netflix? I looked at the message, thought about ignoring it, then typed one sentence. Subscriptions in my name. You should have thought about that before moving into your girlfriend's place. Sent. No reply. There wouldn't be one. Some conversations don't end with closure. They just stop. Mia showed up 20 minutes later. No announcement. Just a knock, then a pizza box in her hands, like she already knew what I needed. Smells like independence in here, she said, stepping inside. Smells like nothing, I said. Exactly. We sat on the floor. Didn't bother with plates. Didn't bother with anything formal. Just ate. Talked about nothing important. Laughed when it felt right. Let the silence exist when it didn't. For the first time in weeks, I could breathe. The aftermath came slowly. Not through him. Through everyone else. Tasha had sources everywhere. Information moved through her like electricity. "Update," she said one night during a call. "He moved in with Madison." I didn't react. "Keep going." "She's got a 2-bedroom. That sounds stable for 4 people." I blinked. 4? "Him, her, and 2 roommates," Tasha said, "one of whom apparently doesn't believe in traditional employment." Mia laughed. "Of course." A few days later, another update. "They're already fighting," Tasha added. "Apparently the living situation isn't what he expected." "It never is," I said. "And Amber?" Mia asked. Tasha paused. "Oh, that's the best part." Amber had stopped talking to him. Completely. No calls. No texts. Nothing. Because somewhere along the way, the truth had reached her. Not the version he told. Not the version he tried to sell. The real one. 8 months. Lies layered over lies. And suddenly, the person she had defended wasn't someone she recognized anymore. "Turns out loyalty has limits," Tasha said. "Good," I replied. A week later, I hosted again. Not draft night. Not a replacement. Something new. I posted it in Discord. Relaunch party. Saturday, my place, 2 p.m. Bring whatever you want. One rule, no exes. The responses came fast. Mia, already there. Queso is locked in. Mike, headset works this time. Probably. Finally, and please fix your Wi-Fi. Saturday arrived. And this time, everything felt right. The same people. The same space. But different energy. Lighter. Cleaner. Real. Music played without tension. Laughter didn't feel forced. No one was watching the door. No one was waiting for something to go wrong. The brisket came out perfect. 14 hours. Exactly the way it was supposed to be. Jordan's queso disappeared again. Mike's headset still had issues. Tasha dominated everything, like usual. At some point, Mia raised her drink. "To Elena," she said. Everyone looked at me. I rolled my eyes. But I didn't stop her. "To knowing when to move a party," she continued, "and when to move on." Laughter. Glasses clinking. Voices overlapping. I looked around. At the people who stayed. At the space that was mine. At the life that hadn't collapsed. Just clarified. And for the first time, I understood something I hadn't been able to name before. I didn't lose him. I outgrew the version of myself that would have stayed. The music kept playing. The night kept going. And nothing felt unfinished anymore.